Hello and welcome. In this video, we'll talk about this device that you've undoubtedly seen by now around the web, in gaming videos, and of course in products and ads. This here is the Steam Deck OLED, the follow-up to the wildly successful original Steam Deck from Valve. Now, what is this device exactly? What does it do? What are some of the specs? Who is it for? Who is the intended targeted audience and the intended buyer for this device? We'll talk about the compromises that had to be made, undoubtedly so, to deliver this particular form factor. And what does it allow you to do in terms of being able to take your PC gaming library with you on the go in new and more exciting ways to play your PC game. And finally, we'll talk about some buying advice, as this category is starting to get very populated very fast. And there's so many choices that it can be, picking the wrong device can be detrimental to your overall PC gaming experience and could be a potential turnoff to this entire category of devices. So let's jump right in. First and foremost, a handheld gaming PC is a PC, hence the name. But if we look here, we've got a few different things to take note of. Usually we'd have a CPU and then a separate GPU in a typical laptop or a desktop setup. Here we've got an APU that's customized from AMD for Valve and particularly for the Steam Deck. So this APU includes both a CPU portion and a GPU portion. If we look at the frequency here, we've got 3.5 gigahertz on the base frequency. We've got 4 cores with hyperthreading, giving us a total of 8 threads for operation. And we've also got 16 gigabytes of RAM on board, which is now bumped up to 6,400 mega transfers per second from the 5,500 on the original Steam Deck. That said, it is complemented with Steam OS, which is Steam's old home-rolled version of an operating system that runs on this device. It is based on Arch Linux, so some of you may be familiar with that device or that particular operating system, but this is finely tuned and customized for that particular APU at about 15 watts maximum to give you the best gameplay experience you can get from the Steam Deck device with very little clutter and very little in the way of other bloatware on the actual gaming device. So what's changed? Well, to say the least, there is a lot. But I would say the highlight features here are that 7 nanometer APU shrink down to 6 nanometer for better efficiency and power management, the bump up in memory speeds to 6,400 from 5,500 mega transfers per second, as well as a newly designed thermal module for better heat management, and of course the standout here, the OLED screen at 90 Hz and up to 1000 nits of peak brightness. It is simply stunning to see. In addition, Wi-Fi 6E are on board to help give us better download speeds, Bluetooth 5.3 with additional codecs and better controller support to hook up all of your peripherals over Bluetooth, and of course the 50 watt-hour battery bumped up from 40 watt-hours on the original Steam Deck, and of course that gives us an overall much more polished experience, particularly when it comes to wake from sleep. So who is this for? Well, if you're a PC gamer and you've primarily been gaming on your desktop PC or perhaps even on your laptop, and you're now tired or looking to get away from your desk or looking for a new form factor to explore for PC gaming, there's no better device to jump into this category than the Steam Deck. Now, keep in mind that the Steam Deck runs with Steam, so when you open the device and launch it by default, you get the Steam launcher and your Steam library, so your entire Steam game library is available to you via the Steam Deck. Of course, it is possible to install additional launchers. However, there's a little bit of trickery that you have to go through to do that, because keep in mind that the Steam Deck runs on Valve's Steam OS, which is a Linux-based operating system. So although there's many games which are 100% compatible, you may run into the odd game which has a little bit of hiccups. Valve is very on top of this with updates, and the library just keeps growing and getting better and better with many games playable and very enjoyable on this form factor. So it's not all gravy though. There's of course compromises that had to be made in order to achieve this particular form factor. As a result, the Steam Deck runs at up to 15 watts in your games. That's combined CPU and GPU workload, since we're talking about an APU here. So that said, 15 watts is enough power for 800p resolution, or rather 720p, at approximately 30 to 60 FPS depending on the game that you're playing. You may be able to take advantage of FSR or FSR2 where it's available, considering we are talking about an AMD APU here, or Radeon Super Resolution where that's available as well. Considering that this is a Linux operating system, however, you're not going to be privy to all of the AMD Adrenalin tools that you'd have on a Windows PC. Of course, it's not all bad news though. Specs and power budgets don't always translate to what the actual gameplay experience is like. So here I wanted to show you with all of the stats turned off, what the actual gameplay is like on this device. I'm not on power. I'm running on the 15 watts APU in battery mode, but I do have it settled in my dock so you can see it much more easily. Now, playing for about an hour to hour and a half of Hogwarts Legacy on my couch, it was very comfortable. It didn't get too hot, and there was little fan noise that was very, very tolerable, as the speakers at full volume would easily drown out the fan noise from this device. And as you can see here, I'm able to run around and play in the game without any issues whatsoever. Of course, there is the occasional stutter or frame rate drop, but that's to be expected pretty much in any game when you're constraining the power so much. That said, in a game like this and other games where you do have FSR or FSR2 available, you can totally take advantage of that to help hit higher frame rates, perhaps even close to that 60 FPS golden figure. That said, you will need to keep your presets and your graphics settings, in check. And in this particular game, they'll need to be on low for the most part, and keep all of that ray tracing goodies off, and you'll have an enjoyable time. And forgetting about the specs, turn it on, sit on the couch, and have a blast. So then, let's answer the question, should you consider buying one? Well, if you're a PC gaming fan or a PC gaming enthusiast and you love everything about PC gaming, but not so much the form factor being tied to a desk with either a desktop or a laptop to play your best and favorite games, then the Steam Deck OLED will definitely give you a new form factor and a much more enjoyable one to play the games. Why pick considering that this is a crowded segment now and there's lots more competition with new devices coming up every month, why would you still pick the Steam Deck OLED? Well, that screen is absolutely fantastic. So you should not be discounting that screen, first and foremost. Secondly, because Steam and Valve with the Steam Deck has taken kind of an Apple formula where they control the hardware, but also customize the software, the Steam OS that runs on this particular device, considering that this is only a quad-core CPU and only running at 15 watts of power, you're getting a stunningly optimized experience on this device. And considering that Steam is behind many of the Proton and other projects that are basically allowing these Windows games to run near natively with performance on a Linux-based operating system and Linux-based device, is something completely to be said on its own. We cannot discount the amount of work that's gone into that, and that's made devices like this entirely possible. Real-time translation of DirectX 12 and Vulkan APIs that allow all of your favorite Windows games to be played in this particular form factor. If you forget about the specs for a moment, pick up one of these devices, load your favorite games, particularly if they're Steam Deck certified, sit on the couch and enjoy. I don't think you'll have any complaints. I was a little bit hesitant about these particular devices and myself didn't decide to commit. I've had an Asus ROG Ally. I've got one right here exactly for quite a while now. I haven't yet gotten around to the review because I wasn't really sold on this category. It wasn't until I picked up the Steam Deck OLED, gave it some time, and just basically looked at enjoying the experience, got over the specs, that I really realized, wow, this is a great way to play your PC games. And if you love taking this device with you, you can get 2 to 3 hours of gameplay on a short haul flight. It's going to be great entertainment. You've got USB-C power on here. If you've got a battery pack, you can extend that potentially to a continental flight. It'll give you some entertainment that you will not be able to get otherwise in this form factor and with your favorite PC games. Now, keep in mind, you do have to stay connected to the internet for most of the modern games, so that may be a hindrance in being able to enjoy the games that you would like. But that said, there's many games, retro games. There's an abundance of PC library games that can be played offline and enjoyed as such without the need for an internet connection. So if you're looking for a new device, or if you're looking to jump into this category and you want to really hit it off right, I think the Steam Deck OLED is the choice for you. That screen will not disappoint. The only downsides I can say about this device, one, the speakers could be better, and two, considering the size of this device, I believe it could have been a little bit more compact. It is still larger than a Nintendo Switch in hand, so it takes a little bit of getting used to how to hold the device in a comfortable fashion. And of course, make sure that if you're going to get into the Steam Deck OLED, that you go for either the 512 or the 1 terabyte models, because the lowest end entry model with the Steam Deck OLED does not get many of the upgrades that we've talked about in the What's Changed section. So if you're looking to really benefit from all of the changes to that Steam Deck OLED and get that slight performance boost, you will need to step up to either the 512 gig or the 1 terabyte editions. So that's all I have to say for now. I'm really sold on this basically form factor. I'm going to be doing a lot more coverage on this. If you have any further questions, please leave them in the comments below. And as always, thanks very much for watching. Please like my channel and subscribe to my content so we can continue to bring you more content and coverage like this, and also help spread the word so that we can continue to grow and help expand this channel. Thanks very much for watching again, and we'll see you in the next video.